to the Master of Unlocking podcast. We are here on yet another holiday, and that holiday is the first day of the NCAA tournament.
Well, not really.
I consider it a holiday. I take it off every year.
I mean, haven't there already been games?
No. Okay. The first four doesn't count. Whoever was trying to make that a thing, it's not a thing.
Okay.
Like, it's...
Fair enough.
It's just basically a spot for, hey, here you accidentally made the tournament, so we need to figure out a way to weed you out.
Right.
And not pay attention. Although I do have a team from the first four winning the next game. Did Belmont win, by the way?
I have no idea.
I don't remember if they did. I've
been watching the NBA.
Yeah, same here. So, anyway, well, that's what we're going to do for the later part of the day, but let's talk about some games. So, Caleb, you're over here. We're in a different location today, and this is throwing me off.
Yeah.
We're usually at Caleb's, and so Caleb is on my left today, and usually Jason's on my left. Now you're on my right. I don't know what to do.
I like this because now I can stare directly at Jason.
Piercing eyes, just staring at me, looking through my soul, understanding my entire pornographic history, downloading into Caleb's brain.
Oh, God. Robocall. What? Seriously, a robocall?
You have that thing flashing over there,
too.
too.
It does flash at me.
That's a little scary.
It's got
everything in your house
every
is
device.
ringing.
I know. Damn you, Apple, and your every device. All right. I never said I'm Logan, by the way. I think I'm here today. All right, let's do this.
Do you guys have an agenda?
We do.
For today? Good for you. I've been busy.
Caleb put together the agenda.
Caleb did the agenda.
Yeah, so I don't even know. So
Right.
You wanted to hit on some old business first, Caleb.
You get the soundboard in front of you.
I do. Yeah.
You've got the agenda in front of you.
Podcast guy.
Thank God, Caleb.
Somebody's-
Thank God for Caleb.
I know.
This time
We're
around.
just winging it today.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. What do we want to hit on?
I don't want to do this.
Okay, well let's do the old. Let's go and. You don't want to do this anymore?
No, I don't.
What did we do? We bought all this new equipment. Now we're done. We're just done. We're done. Forget it. The Master of Unlocking podcast is over. I'm sorry.
No. The thing that I think that you want me to do, I don't want to do.
Oh yeah, the compliments of Kingdom Hearts.
I'm gonna pare it down to one, and if you want, I can say it 30 times or whatever.
Wait, set the stage because I had forgotten.
Yes, we had a small bet going last time about. Was it during the podcast or was it after?
It
this
was
not.
It was a wrestling thing.
Oh God, yeah, that's.
I don't even remember what our bet was.
The bet was that we were watching one and it was going to end like really early, and you didn't believe me. You're like, no way, this is going to go all the way till 10 o'clock. And I said, no, it's not. And I said, there's no way they're going to make this thing go to 10. And I said, all right, for every minute that they are under 10 o'clock, then you have to give one compliment to Kingdom Hearts 3. And it ended up being 32 minutes or something like that.
And I didn't do my homework on this either.
I honestly forgot about it. So until now, I'm kind of excited about this.
Got away with it. But here, I'll say one thing.
Okay, say one thing.
What's the song called?
Face My Fears.
Face My Fears is the best song in a video game for a while. Like a long time.
Besides the Apex Legends intro music.
Okay, no, it's good. But I would say that's more of a score versus an original song.
Okay. I can get behind that. I think it is very
If you
good.
want me to say that 34 times or whatever, I will do that, but that's not necessary.
All right.
I didn't do my homework on this.
That's fine. That's fine.
Once again, Caleb launches a full-on assault against Kingdom Hearts 3.
I know.
God.
Man.
We won't.
Why do you hate things, Caleb?
Just wait until we start talking. No,
Oh, God.
Usually it's Jason that hates things. I don't know.
What?
That's not true.
That is uncalled for. Fuck everything. That is incorrect.
Okay, sorry. Jason doesn't like whimsical things.
That may be true.
That's what I've determined. Yeah.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Jason likes blood and gore and
I don't
ripping things open.
It's more nuanced than that. I'm not just some one-tonal creature. I have feelings. I'm a complex individual. I don't like gore porn. I don't like horror movies. By the way, I want to see Us, but I don't think I can.
Oh, no.
The Jordan Peele joint.
No. I cannot go to a theater to see that.
No way.
Horrifying.
Yes.
Horrifying. Mm-hmm. So I don't do gore porn. And so like horror movies that are like, what is Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Isn't that one of the first ones of those? The Last House on the Left, I think, was the first. So anyway, those kind of things, just like violence for violence sake against like innocent people that are trapped, that kind of stuff really actually turns me off. But
you like gritty.
I like Gears of War a lot. I like Mortal Kombat a lot. It's a certain kind of violence.
When the people signed up for it.
Maybe that's it.
Is when you're in.
Could be that. Maybe it could be that. Like, you knew what you're... Like, Kung Lao, that's a razor blade hat he's got going. If I'm going to engage with him, like, I'm pretty... If I lose my arm, it's on me.
It's an over-the-top cartoon campiness, violence.
There's some, like, I could get behind that because it makes me laugh, but also I do think, like, realistic violence in the right kind of setting is good. So I don't know. I'm not here to say that I don't like violence, but, like, there's a line. There's definitely a line. And it's probably, Caleb, that's a good way. It's probably for the people that signed up for it.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I do have trouble, like, if it's storybook in nature, all right, I struggle a little bit.
Okay.
I have thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 3. We'll get to that later.
Okay. Well, we're hitting on old stuff right now. So
is that old now?
Yeah, where this old business is Kingdom Hearts.
2019. You remember 2019? That was a long time ago. I'm still playing Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah. I'm trying. Other things have come up, so I'm kind of like, it's like Logan's copy of the game. Sorry, Logan. Is like fine. The thing that stays. So like, it's like, okay, if I don't have anything else going, I'm going to go back to it. And I will finish it. And it's fine.
Where are you?
I just got to Arendelle.
Okay.
How far am I?
Halfway. Close to halfway. Maybe like 40%. 45.
I still, all the issues are the same for me, but I'm not offended by it in any way. And there are things about it that do genuinely make me laugh. I really do like parts of it. It's well documented, like how we feel about it and where we think it comes up short in ways. But I do like that game. I think it's fine. And plus I can play it whenever I want to, because everything else I've been playing is like, ooh boy. Yeah. Can't let the 3-year-old see that.
No.
Like, so it is nice if we're hanging out for like 30 minutes before bedtime. She's like chilling on her iPad or playing or drawing or doing whatever. Like, I can turn on Kingdom Hearts and she can kind of come and go as she pleases. Like, can I help you play? And then she'll get disinterested because she's 3.
Run around for 30 seconds.
Then she'll come back and like, so I can actually make progress with her in the room and like she can smash A.
Right.
Sure.
You can get away with the combat of just hitting that button over and over again.
She can smash A, it's fine. And then she's learning to hit Y when she needs to hit Y to deploy the special stuff. So I don't think that, Logan, your kids are older, so I don't think there will be the connection for me this time around. But I can see that developing. I could see it potentially happening. But she's, got the attention span of a 3.5-year-old.
Right. Yeah. Where my 7-year-old had much more of an attention span with it than my 3 or my 4-year-old. Yeah. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for Kingdom Hearts. That's my Kingdom Hearts moment. The music's good, Caleb's right. He's right.
Music in general, all over in that game is great. I think the score, all strong. Of it's good. I think.
Besides that Toys R Us part, right?
Right.
I think that's the one. I didn't mind it as much as the Toys R Us. Toy Story.
Toy Story.
I brought things in a Toys R Us bag today, and that's why it was on my mind.
Wow, you still have a Toys R Us bag?
It's over there. Actually, it's Babies R Us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, it's just hard to. Yeah, it is.
It's a grocery bag.
Yeah. Hey, it's reusable. Got to keep using it.
I should have brought my stuff in a Blockbuster bag or something, like maybe Circuit City.
Oh, Circuit City. Man, Circuit City. I haven't thought about Circuit City in years. Circuit City.
I know. All right. Still other old business?
Yeah. This is actually really old business.
So are we doing the old business
I snuck
segment?
this on here.
Oh, okay.
This is my mystery game.
Oh, okay.
You guys ready for this?
Right.
I told you guys that I had a mystery game I wanted to talk about.
Is it Frank's Adventures?
So I just put Resident Evil on here. Thinking that you guys would see this and be like, oh, he wants to talk about Resident Evil 2 some more.
That's what, I figured.
I played through Resident Evil 3.
Did you?
I did.
On the PlayStation 2?
I played it on PC.
On PC.
There is a graphics mod that made it look better.
A little better, yeah.
Palatable, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It still has the tank controls, which took me a little bit to get used to again.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound really weird because it's literally the subtitle of the game, but I think Nemesis kind of sucks.
You're not supposed to like him. He's a pain in the ass.
I think that's by far the worst part of that game, though.
Stars.
Yeah. They continuously put him in a linear path between you trying to get somewhere
and your objective.
And it's just, and he is the fastest character in any game ever, and he just like teleports to you and kills you instantly. It's really annoying, especially if you haven't saved in a while. There was one spot too where I didn't realize that he would stay permanent on the map, so I ducked into a save room as he was chasing me. Yeah, he just stayed right outside the save room.
Oh, cool.
So I was stuck there for probably about an hour just trying to get out of the save room. That was really annoying. But other than him, I think that game is really, really good. I like that game a lot, actually. I think it's my least favorite Resident Evil, like the numbered ones, but I still think it's really good.
I can't remember where you made me. Did you make me rank these?
I made you do that last time. Yeah.
Oh God, we should test
I think
me.
3 was toward the end.
Later on, we should have me do it and then see if my list matches.
God, I would have to go back and find the timestamp of that one. Boy.
Well, never mind then.
Yeah.
I like that game a lot, but also I think that you and I talk about a friend, an acquaintance of ours, Caleb, who plays things late all the time, and so that's probably a time and place thing. Like, it was probably fairly novel at the time. Like, there's this omnipresent thing that I have to deal with. And
can you do the stars thing again for me?
Stars.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, that I will never see the word stars and not say that.
You say that all the time.
It just comes to. I'll hear that voice for the rest of my life.
I mean, they do a hockey highlight of the Dallas hockey team, and it's Dallas Stars.
It's always on my mind because I watch hockey all the time. Hockey. Ooh,
I don't know.
Ooh.
Nobody.
So I'm fond of that game. I think that's a time and place thing. I understand why it's annoying now, the way that lots of old mechanics are annoying now. But at the time, I think it wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst thing, because by the third one of those, they become ultra formulaic, and they had to do something.
And to be honest, if he wasn't in the game, that would be like a 3.5, 4 hour long game.
Right.
So in those days, to extend out a game without putting in a whole bunch of extra content,
difficulty, death, replayability, like those were even at what that was probably, I'm guessing 98, I bet
something like that.
Yeah, 90, 97, 98 for 3. So have you ever played Dino Crisis?
No. Should I play Dino Crisis?
You should.
Okay.
Yeah, with tempered expectations, but the Dino Crisis 1 and 2 are Capcom games built with the Resident Evil engine and replace the zombies with dinosaurs.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. Like, it's fine. You have to it would be
the puzzle parts?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's basically just Resident Evil with dinosaurs.
Okay,
but the story's just not very good, and it's just it's
come
kind
on, the Resident Evil story's not very good.
The Resident Evil lore is.
We can't do this.
I can't even joke about it.
I can't. I just can't.
Mila Jovovich has made a lot of money off of the Resident Evil lore.
Guys,
absolutely.
I can't.
I know.
I can't. We need to move on, or else I'm about to just take over the next 15 minutes on this podcast, and we don't have time. No.
What else do you got over there? The other old business is all you. So
yeah, that's true. I finished another Eden. It's really, really good, and I'm going to show it to you guys later. I think I want to.
I'm excited to see it.
I still, even after finishing it, I still pull it up all the time when I'm watching TV or whatever. Just grind out a couple of dungeons or whatever. But I just think. I know that our podcast doesn't reach a ton of ears, but that game needs more attention than it's getting, because it's very good.
Have you seen coverage out of the major media outlets on it?
No, and that's kind of disappointing.
It's probably because it's a phone game.
It's a phone game, and it's got free to play stuff, so that really turns people off. But I think it is really worth looking at. It's not for everybody, but if you like the old school JRPGs, I think it's a solid one of those.
How many hours have you put into this?
Oh God, a lot.
A lot, right?
I mean, to finish the game, you're probably looking at like 25 to 30, somewhere in there. I'm probably double that in other stuff.
I thought you were around like 50, 60.
And this had a base price, right?
No, it's free.
It didn't. Okay, so did you put any money into it?
I did. I put in. I did 2 of the. So what you do is you recruit characters to improve your team. and you can either do those in 1 pulls or 10 pulls. If you do a 10 pull, that gives you slightly better odds of getting better ones. A 10 pull is about, well, the first one you do is about $23, something like that. Okay. And then every one after that's about $30. I did 2. So I'm about 50 something into this game.
So in all reality, you bought a full price game.
Exactly. And that's how I rationalized it to myself.
That's kinda, yeah, that's with some of those free to play things. I always feel like if I'm enjoying it, I'll at least dump $5-10 into it just because. I mean, I haven't done that in a while. I think the last thing I did was like they were both basically the same game, but the Family Guy and Simpsons tap games.
The Family Guy game I played for quite a while, and the only reason I stopped was because for one of the events, it was literally impossible to get everything for free. You had to put money in if you wanted to get stuff.
Yeah, and I think I had finished like the main story beats of everything, and there was just the event things that were left, and I was like, this is I just had given up on carrying anymore, and that was kind of how I ended up with both of those games. But I was sure, like, I think I done $5 into each of them, and I was like, whatever, great. It occupied my time for a little bit.
Reward the developers.
You at least get a little bit of money from me. Yeah. So,
and then the last thing on old business, I just wanted to bring up that I have a couple of wins in auto chess.
Oh yeah,
which I am very excited about.
Oh wow, good for you.
It's by far. I want to say. I'd have to think about this more, but I think this might be like the most multiplayer I've played in a game.
Well, you're not because I
don't really play multiplayer
at
all, and for whatever reason, this one kind of hooked me. It's still really, there's a lot of luck to it, but once you get over that hump and you just accept the fact that you're not going to win every game, it's a lot of fun. And they just announced that there's a mobile version coming.
Oh,
so I'm excited about that. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's it
all
for
the old stuff we played.
Business.
Yeah, so let's get into some new things. Just looking at the list, start, I guess, technically alphabetically, or I don't know how you've got this.
I think I put them in launch order. Or maybe roughly launch order.
Either way, Anthem. So okay. I did not touch this.
I didn't either.
Okay.
But I wanted to leave it on the list because I have it. Did you play it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the reason I didn't play it, first of all, I just wanted to say is because I saw the reports that people were getting literal bricked PS4s out of this game.
Wasn't that a demo only thing? Wasn't that the demo that they came out, or was it full retail?
The full retail game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it wasn't officially bricking them, but people didn't know the solution at that point.
No, it was bricking. Like, you literally could not turn it back on.
I thought there was like a database rebuild thing that you just
There was, but for some people that never even triggered.
It didn't.
Yeah,
really? Okay.
It literally killed their PS4. So I was like, I am staying away from this game. If this is going to break my hardware, I'm not even going to try it.
Yeesh.
So that's the reason I left it on here, is just because I didn't know that you played it, honestly. So what did you think about it?
It's Anthem's. It's in a weird spot because it is so not polarizing. I mean, people are hating on it more than they're liking it, which is go figure, the internet.
Right.
I think Anthem looks really nice. I think it is an okay one of those.
Schluter?
Yeah.
You probably just heard that buzz over the mic. That was Gamefly notifying me that they have shipped Sekiro.
Oh, that's very important stuff. Yes.
Sorry. Continue.
I need to go let the dog out. That's what my watch just told me. It's hard. It's really easy to dump on Anthem, and it's well deserved. So I'm trying to think of ways that I cannot have some hot take that has already been talked about and heard over and over and over. Anthem looks really nice. I think that the gameplay is pretty unique. I haven't played anything like it. I can't think of something that has that whole Iron Man suit thing, third-person shooter. That's kind of to its detriment, is that it is a shooter. Like and maybe it's because I haven't unlocked enough of the stuff, but I thought I would have like the Iron Man suit and I'd have lasers and bombs and stuff like just kind of flying off of me, like ammunition just flying off of me and boom, 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 boom. but it was a lot of you're temporarily suspended in the air, so you can't fly all over the place without either cooling down your jets, which is kind of a neat mechanic where if you have like a waterfall that you see and you're overheating, if you overheat, you're down on the ground, and you have to kind of spend a lot of time on the ground to cool your jets and then get them ready to go. So you can cool your jets by jumping into a lake real quick, diving in and swimming around in the lake and then coming back out, which is kind of neat. So you could be flying through the air, going towards a waypoint, starting to overheat, and then you could dive into the water and then come back out and keep going, which is neat. Or go under a waterfall and do that. But once you get there and once you get to the combat, it is a third-person shooter, and you've already played a lot of those. So traversal is new. The combat is not. It still looks looks nice in most spots. It ran a little rough on my 1X in times, and that was mostly in game with other players. So you can do a party up to 4. So I think some of that may have been latency more than performance. I don't want to be unfair there. I don't really play those lifestyle games that much. I'm not a Destiny guy. I'm not a Division guy. I wanted to see this for myself because it was a BioWare game. So you think, well, maybe it's got some of those BioWare storytelling elements that will mix in nicely with the Schluter. Is that what you called it?
No.
The Schluter.
I've heard that as a term.
Is that a thing? Schluter? Is that a thing?
It's a thing that people are calling it. I would, at the same time, I don't think it's a. People are calling it that, but at the same time they hate calling it that though too.
Oh, is that like a we deserve better for ourselves thing?
Yeah, like it's like, oh, like what do you call a loot shooter? A Schluter. Oh, that sounds terrible. But
so people that are into Metroidvanias like that want a better term for it. It's
Metroidvania is also a terrible.
So
word.
maybe that's the same kind of thing. Okay, for the communities that really enjoy those kind of games.
Yeah.
Anthem's fine.
And shmup is another bad one.
Oh, what's that?
I don't know what that is.
Shoot 'em ups.
Shoot 'em up.
Like the what's a good example? Like Ikaruga, or like the ones where you're like bullet hell games.
Oh, sure. Okay.
They're also sometimes called shmups.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which is also a terrible word.
Yeah, I didn't. Ooh, boy. What do you shoot 'em up's not that long of a thing.
Just say shoot 'em up.
Yeah,
that doesn't.
Yeah. I'm trying to condense my thoughts and not be too negative because it's obviously like Metacriticing in the 50s, so Anthem's already getting killed for reasons beyond me, and a lot of that has to do with in-game content, and I won't pretend that I got even close to that.
Okay.
So
how many hours do you think you put into it?
5.
Okay.
That's a decent amount.
5.
I think I'll eventually at least check it out.
Yeah. Me too.
But we'll wait until a couple patches come in, maybe.
Yeah, sure. I didn't know it was bricking systems, so I understand why you didn't play. I'd be curious what you guys think about it. I'm not compelled to go back, and as I've tried other things throughout this year, I've enjoyed my time with a lot of other stuff more than the time with Anthem. I got towards the end of my run, and I just not having a ton of fun, and I really want to like this thing, but I can't make myself choose to play it over the other things I played, so I put it away.
Yeah, that's fair.
Who all played Far Cry New Dawn?
I did not. I want to play that.
Either.
I need to remember to play that.
I finished it.
Okay.
I thought it was fine. I think it's a lot better than 5.
Is it really?
As far as the story goes. It does at the end kind of fumble a little bit with the relationships and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Like Far Cry games tend to do, You have a compelling thing for 75% of the story, and then it kind of falls apart at the end. That seems to be the trend that they have. But I think it's totally fine, and it's short. Like, you can do everything in that game in like 10, 12 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Which that was actually very exciting to me when I found that out.
I should play it then.
Yeah.
I will be able to put 12 hours into that.
You get in, you get your Far Cry fix, you get out, and you're done with it.
Really?
Yeah.
There's something to say about an 8 to 12 hour first person story game, but single player story game that I feel like has been missing. Like, there's not a lot of those anymore.
We kind of lost that when we lost the B tier.
Maybe that's what it is, but man, because there's something I just like. Boy, I would really just love a 8 to 12 hour story game, and anymore they're like, okay, well, it's either 20 or 30, yeah, or it's like, or it's you got a loot shooter again, where it's all right, yeah, there's a story to this, but the fun doesn't start until after the story's over. Oh, great, I don't know. That's yeah.
So, I guess that's one other thing to mention about Anthem is that the story is incredibly hard to follow. That might be one of the other things that people don't like about it. Is I don't know what's going on. And I really tried. I watched cutscenes. I wasn't multitasking. Mm-hmm. I was giving it its time, and I feel like there's a big batch of lore that you need to read before you even start it, or this explanation that you need before you understand who you are, what you do, why you've done it, and what this conflict is.
From that. They got to get away from that. You can't expect a person to read stuff beforehand or go to a website and look up all this lore. You just can't do that anymore.
I saw recently where the Division 2 has a lore book. Literally a book that they're selling with it.
Is this A to B from 1 to 2?
I have no idea what it's about, but it's just they're just calling it a lore book. That just, it screams to me like you didn't put the right amount of effort into putting that story into the game. You shouldn't have it be a secondary piece.
And I think what a lot of developers are missing is that you don't have to have the most complicated story in the world for it to be successful. You can have a very easy to follow, simple story, and it can be a very good story in a game.
Good versus evil, still a good story. I mean, there's usually
or even just when I love it when games just focus in on one or two individual people and their story in a world, because then there's something for you to hook into. And if you want to know the lore of the world or whatever, you can dig into that stuff, but it's not required to follow the game that way.
Yeah. Logan, you played Far Cry 4 a little, right?
Yeah, I played a little bit of Far Cry 4, and
you don't like the way those games feel.
I just don't like the way they feel. Yeah, that's kind of my thing with the Far Cry games. I'm just not a fan.
They're a different thing for sure.
Yeah.
They have their own unique control scheme, and they stick to it. Driving in those games can be pretty cumbersome if you're not used to it. If you go from Grand Theft Auto or Watch Dogs or a sandbox game, and then you drive a car, you're going off of a cliff.
Yep.
You don't know where you're going. Your horse controls better probably in Red Dead than cars do in Far Cry. But 10 to 12 hours, maybe you could get through that. Maybe.
Yeah, I guess. But I guess ultimately, was the story good and was it worth it? And would I've needed to play 5?
No, you wouldn't need to play 5.
Would you need to know who the father is?
You would need to know who. Yes, 3 of the characters are, but that's it. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, it's not hard.
And that we can explain it to you in 5 minutes.
If I get bored enough, maybe.
Yeah, you may not have time, but if you want to run an experiment, right? I feel like I've been missing this kind of thing. Maybe that's the experiment to run.
Yeah, I just wish, I was more just, hey, games could probably afford to maybe cut down on some of the filler sometimes.
Where is Dark Sector? Where have you gone, Dark Sector?
Yes.
Where are games of your ilk? They're gone.
Yeah.
Where are you, the darkness?
Yeah.
Where are you?
Where are you, Binary Domain?
Yeah.
You guys remember Binary Domain?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. See, the unoffensive short game.
Right.
That wasn't very lucrative. Oh,
yeah. Right.
That's where you went.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's where you went. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Anywho, let's see what's next after that. Tetris 99.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Tetris 99. I signed up for the free trial of the Switch Online stuff. It gives you a week for free. So it's why not? And Tetris 99 is free if you have the Switch Online. So it's a week of playing Tetris. I'll sign up for that. Why not? It's a lot of fun, and I think it's a really well designed game. I think that they don't teach you how to play the game at all. There's a bunch of stuff in there.
It's still Tetris, though, right?
It's not the Tetris part. The Tetris part, everybody knows how to play Tetris, right? But it's the other stuff in there. So, do you guys know the concept of this?
Isn't it? Well, it's kind of like Tetris Versus, isn't it? Where you can essentially drop other lines onto other people, but
so you're playing against
99 other people.
98 other people.
98, right? Yeah. Well, yeah. And then the idea is that you get down to 1, and whoever wins is the winner, but otherwise it's a battle. It's a Tetris battle royale.
There's 2 ways that you can target other people, and that's not explained at all in there. So you can either do it manually. You can pick out somebody to pick on and say, hey, I want to dump all my stuff on this guy. Or you can do it based on...
What do you mean dump all my stuff?
So whenever you clear out a line or you get a Tetris, it sends junk to their screen so that they have to overcome the extra stuff.
I didn't understand that.
Oh, so have you ever played a Tetris Versus before?
No.
Oh, okay.
So that's what happens. So yeah, like if you get like you said, you get those things.
So it's not just who can. It's not who survives. Like Dr. Mario, it's different than that.
Yes, yeah. You're sending junk.
So you clear your stuff, and it means pieces for the other player?
Yeah.
Cool.
Or it means like lines for the other player.
Yeah,
so they'll get a line underneath all their stuff that bumps everything else up.
So it's not just the satisfaction of clearing your pieces, but knowing that you're sending an FU.
Yeah.
Ha!
Yeah.
Ooh,
I've been meaning to do this, and I just keep forgetting to download it. I'll think about it at the...
Have you started the trial yet?
I have a full subscription to...
Can we play this today?
Yeah, let's do it today.
Oh, yeah, you guys should totally check this out. It's fun. My frustration is that you do have to be really, really, really good at Tetris if you want to win.
Oh,
you have to be really good.
And it's 100 players, right? Just like a battle royale.
And there's no matchmaking. There's no like ranked mode. There's nothing keeping new players separate from people that have been playing forever.
Is it hard to get into a game, or is it?
No, it's like literally like a second and you're in a game.
I wonder if there's bots that they're filling it with or something.
I don't know.
So I can imagine. I'm just curious about like filling 99 players.
I was playing it at launch, so it might be different now.
Can I come up with a bad video game term?
Yeah.
You're Tetratar.
Ew.
No. Vetoed.
Man, I tried. Hate you guys.
So
hate everything.
One of the things that frustrated me was I was just on YouTube the other day and I saw a video. There's a guy that has won, I think it was over 200 matches in a row.
Oh.
He's won of this game. And he had a YouTube video. It was like a 3-hour stream he did where he won every single match that he played. And it's just like, well, yeah, but when you look at the people that you're playing, because there's a number next to your name that shows it's like your level. And that just goes up the more you play. So he's like level like 600 something. And everybody else that he's playing against is like level 4 or like level 15, which means they've played the game for a handful of hours and they're going up against this Tetris Grandmaster. And it's just like, well, what hope do I ever have of winning in this game if there's no separation between people that are like just able to see the piece and drop it versus me having to like flip it around?
Yeah, we need to find out when this guy sleeps.
Yeah. So that's my frustration with the game is that it's just it's not balanced at all. So you're gonna have a really tough time winning if you're not like insane at Tetris.
Yeah. Well, we'll give it a shot this afternoon.
I suppose it's like that in anything, though.
Yeah.
Like we talked about Apex Legends last time, and like I get dominated by those people.
You could stumble your way into a win in Apex.
That's suppose. True. Yeah, especially by like lying low and not engaging. And it's different.
You can hide in a room for a match. And
you're right.
And you can get matched up with a couple of really good people too.
That too.
I mean,
yeah, sure. Okay, that's fair. Maybe that's not apples to apples.
Yeah. So yeah, let's check that out later today, though. Yeah, while we're hanging out. Metro Exodus.
You played a lot more of this than I did, I think.
Yeah,
I played like an hour. So,
oh, really?
Yeah,
I finished it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I've finished 2 games. Yeah, Metro Exodus is one of them. It's my first Metro game, so that may have been one of the things propelling me through it. That comment sounds negative. I don't mean to be negative at all. But I was interested because I have not played. There's just the 2 of them, right?
Yes, 2033 and 2034.
Okay, so
I think that's right.
I think one of them was 55.
I thought what's Metro Redux?
Well,
Both
that's
of them.
the remake. Or not remake, but remaster. Whatever.
It's the remaster of both packaged into one. That I do know. So you play as Artyom, who is after they kind of do a really nice job of presenting the Fallout. Like, you're at the beginning of the game, it's a really nice cutscene. You're someone who's taking public transit to work, and you're going like in and out of like, so it's a subway, then it's like an elevated train, and you're kind of going in and out of sunlight, and you see like the bombs going down as you're on this public transit. So like, there's this immediate feeling of like, you feel like this person. It's really crazy. Like, it's really effective. So you're watching as you're going through like these elevated tunnels. They're kind of like stops where like cuts the sky out from you and you can't really see anything. And it's kind of like going by very quickly because you're on a train, and then it cuts back out and the bombs are lower and people start to panic. People who don't notice start to notice. And so you watch people grab their loved ones on the train, and then you get to a stop and you see the bombs hit and you're watching people like try to take shelter. And it's like, it's awful. Like it's this really like, ugh, it's terrible. And then you cut to your collective group. You're kind of this makeshift like arm of the military underground. And maybe Caleb, you can tell me more about previous Metro games, but
I don't really remember a ton about them, to be honest.
So your character's name is Artyom. Miller is your captain, and then his daughter is your wife. And that is what this game is about. It's less about the core shooting and mechanics as it is the people that you find, save, kind of bring into your group. So you're this group of survivors, and you come to a decision on whether or not you want to leave this underground life that you've built. And this is several years after the war began. And so you've survived underground, and you go out and explore with your wife and discover that not everything is radioactive. Like some areas are safe. And so that leads you to explore, and then you get a train, and the train's name is Aurora, and you start to get on the tracks and you go. And you decide to leave this safe haven to explore whether or not the world is as everyone says it is underground. Because everyone that says it's underground says that it's a wasteland, don't stop. But when you go out, you discover that the war is actually still going on. Like, what you've been told underground is not true. Countries are still there. There are still people that are governing bodies between them, and they're still fighting. And so you go to try to discover what's going on with the world, and if there are places where crops can grow, where fruit can grow, where livestock could survive, where you could survive in sunlight. And these people are all motivated by like the lack of vitamin D, I guess is the quick way to say it. Like, we want to see the sun. We want to live outside. We want to breathe fresh air. We don't want to live underground anymore. And so you kind of go out and check out what the world is like. And there are mutants like any other post-apocalyptic game. There are gangs of people that are doing awful things. Like, it's got all the normal tropes, but the really strong piece of it is the people you encounter and your relationship with them. So you have to decide whether or not you find a woman and child in this like cultist outpost. And these people are nuts. And they've got this woman and this little girl captive. And you have to decide whether or not you want to kick two adults off the train to make room for them who have been with you forever, or take on these two helpless people. Like, that's the kind of stuff that is really interesting. And it's not like you don't know these characters that you're proposing to kick off the train. Like, they helped you get out of this underground area. Like, they're very core to the story so far. And then, am I going to say goodbye to these characters? Am I going to save these sheep surrounded by wolves? What do I do? And it's that stuff that's really strong. The stealth mechanics are very good. I didn't play it on the highest difficulty, but I understand that if you really are into the Metro games, difficulty is a thing. You're constantly checking your mask. You only have so much bandwidth with each filter on your mask. So there's only so much radioactivity you can go through. You can't just run around like a maniac. You have to pick your spots. Your mask can get damaged and leak. And
some of that stuff leads into which ending you get to. Like, if you kill everybody you come across, you're going to get a bad ending,
right?
As opposed to sneaking by and
playing passively. Or you can incapacitate characters instead of murdering them at every chance. So that's kind of the choices you make. You're only supposed to kill when you have to, kind of a thing. But you can stealth your way through, and that's really kind of, in the more difficult spots, the stealth is actually pretty strong for a first-person game. If you get caught, it can go real bad for you because your supplies are limited. Like, this is a wasteland. So having it be my first experience, I really liked it a lot. There's some core survival mechanics in there that are really interesting, like the filter stuff and there's not a lot of ammo. There's not a lot of health.
And speaking of ammo, I believe they've taken it out for this game, but in the previous 2 games, ammo was also your currency.
Oh, really?
So you could choose do I want ammo for my gun, or do I want to spend this at the shop to get more stuff?
Interesting choice. Yeah, so that's probably where these choices come from as a legacy of Metro. That is crafting supplies in this one. So it's just you can take apart a gun when you come across it rather than pick up your enemy's gun. You can take it apart and get the supplies out of it. I liked it a lot. It's not perfect. It definitely has problems.
So the reason I only played it for about an hour is I was playing. I'm assuming you played it on Xbox. I played it on PlayStation, and I was having a really hard time with the control lag.
Like, really?
You would press forward, and it would literally take like half a second to a second for him to wind up and actually take a step.
Huh.
And I don't know about the Xbox version, but apparently that was acknowledged by the developers.
Really?
And they have put out a patch that quote unquote fixed that.
Okay.
But so I only played it for like an hour on PlayStation. I was like, I can't get over these controls. So I sent it back to GameFly. I restarted it on PC, but since it was the stuff I'd already done, I just wasn't all that interested in it at that point.
Yeah.
So I do plan on going back to it at some point, but it just the control issue kind of just bugged me enough.
There's a certain weight to it for sure. The shooting's really tight. I'll give it that too. It's not, you know how you get these games that dabble in different areas? Like Metro is a survival sim, but it is definitely a tight shooter. It knows what it's doing with its gunplay. It feels about as good as anything else. I wouldn't put it in like masterclass of like Destiny or Halo, but it is, or COD. It's right there though. It's not a joke. If anything, like there's things like lip sync that's off. Some other like production stuff that may not have been like given the most tender love and care. It still looks really nice on a One X. I know did they package it with an X?
I think it was the flagship console, yeah. Or, I mean, if that's what, that's how they had the branding stuff with it.
They did a bunch of bundles for games earlier this year with an X, so yeah, that was...
And I think it first showed at Xbox, like on the Xbox stage and stuff. So
I remember that,
they chose that as their flagship console.
That one not the playing it, but the decisions and the characters will stick with me. I'm surprised as I think back on it how much I'm like, man, that was a tough decision to make, and that sucked to see that character go, and I wonder if I made the wrong decision there. It's all about the people, and for good and bad.
The first 2 games kind of they started out kind of like that, where it was about the people that you meet and trying to help people, but they kind of veered into the supernatural aspect of it as well, like the race of the mutants and they're being controlled by a hive mind and all that kind of stuff. So it's nice to know that this one's a little more grounded with the story.
Yeah, I guess I don't want to spoil it, but there's a really nice moment that near the end of the game that ties all of that together.
Okay.
Maybe they feel that they came up short in that arena before, and so knowing that it all comes together in this one, at least wise, that says that we've received your critique of this and we're trying to be better at it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Who's the developer on that, Caleb?
It's
a European developer, right?
It's they're Polish, I want to say, or maybe not Polish. I don't remember the name of the.
Yeah, I know it's somewhere Europe. I just don't know what it is.
Well, good for them for not being one of the major developers / publishers and being able to put out a product of this quality. I hope that they can continue to do that, and I'm not asking people to be CD Projekt or anything, but good for them.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break and we'll come back, hit on some more games. We've played a lot. Yeah, more than what I thought. So let's take a quick break. We'll come right back. All right. So we've just finished up talking about Metro. So far, I haven't played any of these games, but now I finally get one.
Yep.
Crackdown 3.
You finished this, right?
I did finish it. Let's put it. Crackdown 3 is not a good game. It's a very okay thing.
That seems to be the theme of 2019.
It's very okay. Like you say, it's not bad. It's just, I think the thing that probably hurts this game more than anything was how long it was in development. Because you think this game's been in development for a long time. There's going to be all this new cool stuff and everything. And frankly, it's just okay. And it's inoffensive. It does what it does. It's, hey, go run around, shoot some stuff, blow some stuff up, jump really high, grab some orbs. That's about it. Story-wise, it doesn't really have a great story either. They never even really did go back to that whole thing. Remember the end of Crackdown 1 where you found out that, like, yeah, you're this great agent, but really we're the bad guys. Yeah. And then they never go back to that. And I never figured that one out either. But story in this, same old. You got your bad terrorists who took over the city, and there's the way they do it is kind of what they call it in Shadow of Mordor or whatever it was called. What the Nemesis system. Okay. There's like sub bosses, and then once you beat those sub bosses, like it looks like that, but it doesn't act like it because they have a menu screen that shows.
Do they respawn?
Like, no, they don't respawn. That's what I mean. But it just looks like that. Of how there's sub bosses, and then there's like a middle boss, and then there's the main boss.
It's more like Wildlands, Ghost Recon Wildlands, where you have to kill the sub bosses before you can do the big boss.
Or Mafia 3, right?
I don't remember Mafia 3.
Oh yeah, Mafia 3 did do that. Okay. Yeah, that was so. Yeah, you had like
so it's like that because the Nemesis system has respawning
stuff.
Guys, right? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it is.
It's not randomly generated or anything.
No,
like that.
it's a tiered system.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so you had to. So yeah, that's how you had to do it. But the way that you cleared out stuff. You just cleared out you cleared out like 8 areas, which then opened you up to fight the sub boss, and then you fought the sub boss, and the sub bosses weren't even that interesting either.
There was one, I've been playing this in co-op, and there was one that we unlocked a sub boss. We went over there. I was a little bit behind because I saw an orb, so I was like, I'm going to collect that orb.
That's what happens.
And,
piece of candy.
Yeah, piece of candy. And then I just heard my buddy laughing, and I'm like, what? And he's like, I killed it already. I didn't even get there in time.
That's very true. It's not hard.
I could see how that would happen.
It's not hard at all. And even if you did die, you basically respawn right back there into the same, I mean, you're fighting like that next tier of where you're at with that boss. Like, so if because each of them seem to have like 3 levels of something where they would each, this level they jump from over here to over here. Well, and then the next one, once you finish their health at that level, then now all of a sudden they've got a gun that shoots fire. So it's that old style of game where you hit them 3 times, but they had a health bar, but it wasn't. It was fine. I would say it was a good palate cleanser for me for anything, just of like from playing, which I know, it's not dramatic for anybody else, but Kingdom Hearts 3 and for that. And
you had an emotional reaction to Kingdom Hearts 3.
And then the tenseness of Resident Evil 2, playing that kind of game, like this was kind of a very I don't even think I had the volume up past the first intro section. Other than that, I just was like, oh, screw it. And I just had the volume down at like a 2 or a 3 and just had a podcast on and just mindlessly played it. And I think that was perfectly fine doing that.
I think I have 2 notes from this podcast. Is that the 2 games I think I want to play a little less seriously is Crackdown 3 and Far Cry.
Yeah.
I think if I can find... Because I got like this to-do list, right, of games that you want to prioritize and play, but those are on there for a different reason than that to-do list. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I feel like this little pet project of ours means that I need to play certain things, but I kind of that sounds like almost like a vacation.
Yeah. It is. It really was. I was kind of like, man, it was a really nice week of just like, I'm just mindlessly playing this, and it's perfectly fine, and I'm not I'm not invested into this. If there was another game that came out or something right now, I could go and play this and come back to this at any point in time and not give a damn, or
just abandon it and it wouldn't really matter.
And at the same time too, it was kind of like, I could just give up on it. And even toward the end, I was like, I think I finished it and I was like, well, I think I have I could collect 5 more orbs and just to max it out or something. I didn't even get an achievement for it, but I was at 4.92 of level 5 for it. And I was like, oh, screw it. I'll run around for a minute and grab these things. Because it is just kind of fun to jump around in Crackdown. That's kind of what the original part of it was just, I can just jump the side of a building. Sure, that seems fun. And I can pick up a car and throw it. Whatever.
You and I would be repeating ourselves, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. Crackdown 3 was the Halo beta.
Right. Crackdown 1 was the Halo 3 beta, yeah.
Crackdown 3 now, Crackdown 1. Yeah. I bought it for the Halo 3 beta.
I think everybody did.
And it was so good.
But then you play it and you're talking about games have tried this before, but it was early on in the 360, right?
Yeah, and then you have your Saints Row 3 and Saints Row 4 that really took that to, they took it to that degree though too, and they put a good story behind it that was super campy, that was really enjoyable. So now going back to it, it's kind of oh, well, Saints Row did this better. And
yeah, but that doesn't mean Crackdown 1 didn't do it the best first, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they were the original, but then you look at Agents of Mayhem. I would actually compare this to kind of a little more like Agents of Mayhem.
Is it better or worse in your opinion? I don't want another one of those games has been blasted enough. I'm not trying to do that, but are you enjoying your time with this more?
I think that I would say they're about even. And
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and then I didn't finish Agents of Mayhem, and I've always thought about going back and finishing it. But again, it was one of those where it was I could play this and it's perfectly fine and not hate myself for doing it. I'm not having a bad time with it, but I'm not having a great time with it either.
That was me with Agents of Mayhem too, where there was just other stuff that was out.
Right.
And I'm well, this is not worth my time right now. But if you needed something just to turn your mind off and shoot stuff while there's a podcast going, then it might be good for that.
And I kind of, as Crackdown came out, it was okay, Anthem's out, Metro's out, and I was just I think I just want to do this.
Yeah.
And that's what I decided to do. And
speaking of that Halo beta, were you working at GameStop during that time?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Do you remember because I went into GameStop a lot during those years. That was part of our tradition, was just to wander around GameStop for a while. Do you remember?
Not the only one.
Yeah. Do you remember the stacks and stacks and stacks of Crackdown?
Oh yeah,
that were traded in after that beta ended.
Yeah. Absolutely, but Crackdown wasn't super long.
No, it was right.
Once you maxed out your character and there was no more orbs, I understand why everybody traded it in. The beta's over. I've collected every orb. Sure. Traded in. But yeah, it was one of those games that
has any other game done that? And since then,
that's a good question.
Included a beta for something really cool.
You'll appreciate this. Do you? And I'm not trying to be pop quiz guy. I just would be curious if you know this piece of trivia because you're a Final Fantasy fan, even more so probably than we are. Do you know what game included the Final Fantasy VIII demo?
Oh
Caleb?
Man, I should know this because I have known this at one point, but I have forgotten.
I still have the game.
Okay,
it wasn't.
That's why I know it.
Was it one of the? It wasn't Devil May Cry.
No, there was a game.
It was a Square Enix game.
Yeah, what would that have been?
It's super random.
Squaresoft.
It's not. It wasn't.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. Squaresoft. I said that deliberately, like I was saying the original name. Yeah. I really thought I was saying it right. Squaresoft.
It wasn't because it would have been a PS1 game.
It was
right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was gonna say the Bouncer, but that was PS2. I don't know.
Brave Fencer Musashi.
Okay.
I went out and bought Brave Fencer Musashi to play the Final Fantasy VIII demo.
It was also that Final Fantasy VIII demo was also on one of those Pizza Hut discs.
Was it really?
Point. Yeah, because I remember playing that a ton.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So here's the other one. What game did the Devil May Cry demo come with?
Oh.
It had to be Capcom.
Okay, so Capcom, that was PS2.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful Joe.
No, I think Beautiful Joe was after.
I think Beautiful Joe may have launched first on GameCube.
That
right. Is also true.
It wasn't one of the Resident Evils, was it?
No, because hold on. Code Veronica?
Very close. Code Veronica X.
What's the difference?
Well, but I meant that because Code Veronica only came out on Dreamcast. Code Veronica X came out on PS2.
That is right.
Is that the same game though, or are they two different games?
It's just like the expanded director's cut, like they did with every other Resident Evil back then.
Gotcha. Yeah, because Code Veronica came out on GameCube, and then they came out with Code Veronica X on PS2.
Okay.
If you hadn't said Resident Evil, I don't think I would have put it together. But then I started remembering the different versions.
I was just trying to think of Capcom properties is all I was trying to do.
Did you play that demo?
You and I both played that demo in our
Veronica?
RA's room.
Really? We played the Devil May Cry demo?
Just because remember what was his name?
Because I remember we ran out.
What was our RA's name?
I can't remember. Hold on. I could do this later. Hold on.
I can picture him.
Nicest guy.
Oh,
Tony.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Frank.
No.
Can't spend all the time doing this.
I can't think of it either,
but we ran out and bought Devil May Cry, right?
Right, because we'd played that demo. He's like, you guys got to check this out, and like he brought us in the room. He was all over it. He was like, look at this thing.
Yeah, the 3 games we ran out and picked up that year, and I might be forgetting one, but we immediately bought were Devil May Cry, Metal Gear Solid 2, and Final Fantasy X.
Correct.
Holy, that's
all in our dorm room.
Man, that is
2001, 2002, and we each had our own separate save for Final Fantasy X because we only had one PS2. So we had
Logan had his Xbox and I had my PS2.
Yeah, that's how we rolled back then. So we played Halo on. Yeah, that was back 4-player Halo. We'd have everybody in the
Halo
dorm room,
and those were like, that was a formative time for us. Like looking back, not to be all too nostalgic, but it was it's when like who we are today and our hobbies all have a lot to do with those games coming out in succession and them all being like bangers. Yeah. Not just like average game. Like these are incredible. Like will be those incredible forever. Yeah.
Those are,
yeah.
And for whatever reason, I don't know why, but one of those games that sticks out from that time frame for me is one night we got really drunk and played Fatal Frame.
Fatal Frame was horrifying.
It was. And it was like okay, we said it. We didn't do anything that night. It was a Friday night, and we
went running Fatal Frame
from Blockbuster
because we kept there was all this stuff on videogames.com,
right? Yeah,
GameSpot at the time. There was all this stuff about it, and we just were like, I gotta see this thing.
Let's see it. Yeah, so we scared the shit out of all of our female dorm people and dorm mates and
freshmen.
Yeah, freshman year, fun stuff.
So next? Crackdown.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I like I said, I've been playing in co-op. We play for like 2 hours every 2 weeks, and that seems to be about the point when we get bored. But I think we'll finish it eventually. It's just a matter of
what's the rush.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And I haven't even touched that other mode because there's a single player mode and then there's what's it called?
What is
Crash
that?
mode? Or
it's
something?
It's
multiplayer.
It's an app. Like it's its own application.
Right.
Yeah.
And I haven't even touched it. I didn't even download it. I don't know anything about it.
And that's where all that cloud processing stuff they talked about is in that part.
Yeah.
Is it? That's almost worth looking at just to see.
Yeah, maybe we'll at least check it out at some point. Next on the list, Toejam and Earl back in the groove. So, Caleb and I have been playing this a little bit.
Do you both own this individually?
Yes.
On what system?
Xbox for me.
PC for you? Okay. It's on all the major platforms?
Yeah.
Besides Switch? Is it on Switch?
It's not
It is on Switch. It is on Switch.
I'm excited to look at this.
We're going to look at it later today. It follows the original modification. So, Toejam Earl 1 was a roguelite where you walked around, you found an elevator, you went up to the next level, and you tried to find rocket ship pieces because you crash landed on Earth, and that's how but for whatever reason, Earth is in a multi-layered component because you need elevators to get there. Don't ask me why.
Toejam and Earl's why. But it's kind of a walking simulator almost, but there's enemies and stuff that you got to avoid, and so it's always been a weird its own thing. I can't even think of anything other game that's anything like it that's ever existed because it's so odd.
I got nothing for you there.
But they've done, and when they came out with Toejam and Earl 2, it was a side scroller, made no sense. People hate on that game. I enjoyed it, but I was a kid also when I played it, so it's a completely different thing.
What platform was that on?
Genesis.
It did
so
come out
so they
quickly
both
afterwards.
originally were Genesis games, and then Toejam and Earl 3 came out on the Xbox.
Okay.
And that game was a hot mess of a disaster.
It was like a 3D platformer.
It was.
Thing,
they
right?
tried to combine the two, and it was slightly open world, but it was almost like Animal Crossing even, but it was just bad, and and that was original Xbox. So you're talking early 2000s, and the game's disappeared since then. So it was kickstarted 2 or 3 years ago now to do this new one. But they're back to the old original style, the original Toejam and Earl 1 style, and where you start out on Earth, you're going looking for rocket ship pieces, you've got elevators. There's a lot more enemies, I would say, in this one than the first.
I say there's a lot more stuff on the screen.
Yeah, there's just stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what it is.
It's not necessarily all enemies, because there's also the friendly people.
Yeah, there's a lot more friendlies than there have ever been.
Bushes you can shake and trees you can shake and all that kind of stuff everywhere. So
yeah,
there's a lot more stuff on the screen.
Yeah, it's stuff. Stuff is a good way to put it. I found that because the other thing that you do is you get all these items to use, and they're presents, they're birthday presents. Is how it's all set up, and you just use them, and you never know what you're going to get. You could get something great, or you could get the worst thing ever.
But that's an original Toejam.
That's an original Toejam and Earl thing.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
all from the original game.
I got one that was just an instant death, and I'm like, "Are you serious right now?" I just lost a life because I opened a present.
Mm-hmm. And you only get like 3 lives. It's your progress does not carry over, so anything that you level up your character from one in one game, if you die, your level does not carry over to your next playthrough.
Hold on, just so I understand. So this is more or less like a classic run game.
It's a rogue game, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
so it's just your one playthrough, and then that's it, and it resets.
Yep.
Yeah, there is some stuff that carries over. You can unlock costumes.
Yeah,
there's new characters to unlock. And I think, if I understand correctly, if you finish a run, or maybe it's you finish a certain achievement or something. You permanently identify a certain present.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's true.
The next time you find that present in the game, it will tell you what it is before you use it.
But they do have, there's fixed worlds and there's random worlds. So the fixed world would be, anytime you go to level 2, the elevator is going to be in the same spot, the rocket ship piece is going to be in the same spot, everything's going to look the same. But in a random world, you never know where they're going to be. So the idea is that, you need to do the fixed world first, and then you can unlock random worlds once you get better at the game and try to do that. I actually have not finished one yet. I think the highest I've gotten is 19, I think, out of 25. I think it's 25.
Usually 25.
25 levels. You finished it, haven't you? You finished
I finished. I did the tutorial world, which is like 6 levels or something.
Oh, I didn't even do the tutorial.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know there was one.
The fixed world, which is 25 levels, and then I also did one random world of 25 levels. Cool. And then checked out co-op, but the person I was trying co-op with was just not interested. So made it kind of miserable.
Well, you and I are going to try co-op today, so we're going to see how that goes. Co-op in that game is really cool because the screen splits. It's couch co-op. Cool. That's how it's designed to be. So you can see what they're doing, where they're going. It's so I'm interested to try couch co-op, and it's kind of one of those it's one of those. It's a digital game. I own it, so I'm gonna go back to it as I'm in and out of different things. So I'm not too I got to finish it and do all this stuff. I'm kind of excited to just kind of go back to it as I get to it. That's
what were your rewards as a backer for this?
I did not purchase anything at a tier to get any rewards other than the game.
Just the game.
So
you
yeah,
purchased the game
so I just purchased the game ahead of time. Was what I did. It was $20, I think. Because I did the Kickstarter backer thing.
Same cost for you.
It was a little cheaper because it was on sale. I think that's
okay.
I think that's the reason I picked it up on PC is because there was a
sale,
an early sale thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it was $20. The some of the backer rewards. There's actual islands on the game that just say Backer Island. And so you could have had that was one of the tiers, was that you could have your own island and your own Toejam and Earl character of yourself created. So there's those which are, that's kind of a thing.
Are you in the credits? Do you know if you're in the credits?
I would assume I'm in I think everybody got a credit for at least backing the game, but I think there's different tiers of credits. So I'm going to be.
You haven't actually gotten to the credits yet.
No, so I haven't done that.
It's really cool the way they do that. It's almost like its own side scroller. Like you're in the ship.
Oh,
and
okay.
you can press like accelerate or decelerate, and it just like the faster you go, you can keep going. And at the bottom, it has the list of like letters. So you can like if you want to find
yourself,
name,
like
you can
I can just find your last name or first name or however it's sorted. And
yep.
Oh,
it's pretty cool.
I haven't done that. So that'll be.
I should have looked to see if I could find you there. I didn't even think about that.
So yeah, it's the first time I've ever kickstarted anything.
I mean, it's not gonna
it's not gonna win any awards or anything else, but it's fun. It's fun.
Yep.
Yeah, for $20. Yeah, for a piece of nostalgia to kind of come back and do something new and different. It looks really nice. The art styles are good with it. The sound effects are good. You know, that's really what the first game was kind of all about, was just the weird style and the crazy sound effects. Yep. And the
music is amazing.
Yeah, the funk music, yes, is very good. That is for sure. So we'll talk about that more on a video. But what's next on our list?
Dead or Alive 6. I played through the story mode of Dead or Alive 6. It's only like 2 hours long, something like that.
Yeah, most fighters.
It's hilarious.
Okay, like
I want to play
intentionally hilarious.
No.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
It's so you know how like in fighting games you always need a reason for the two people to fight in your story.
Yeah.
You know, this doesn't even try. It's just like two old friends. Oh, I haven't seen you in years. How you doing? Oh, pretty good. You want to spar? And then they fight.
And like when it's over, they're like, "Hey, let's go get some tacos or something."
Yeah,
or?
Pretty much.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
all right.
There is one branch of the story that actually tries to have an actual story, but everything else is just hilarious because they do not set it up at all.
Is the fighting good?
It's fine. I'm not a fighting games guy, so I don't really know. I was just kind of mashing buttons the whole time.
I don't think I've played a DOA since 3. I don't think I have.
I haven't played one probably. There was the one that launched on 360.
Was that? I think that was 3, wasn't it?
Was it 3?
I think.
Man, there have been that many since then?
No. 3 was on original Xbox.
Oh, wow. So maybe it was.
4 was on original Xbox as well.
So maybe 5.
So 5, I think, was the 3.
That's why I played it, because it was a new, like, it was, there's like 8 games on the shelf. Mm-hmm. Like, when that system launched. So take your pick, play them all. That and NBA Live 06.
Yeah.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, I'm curious to hear what you
I want to play it. I do. Maybe I'll go. Did you gameplay that?
How did I play that? Yes, I think so.
Yeah, okay.
It's so hard to remember like how I acquired games.
I might run by and rent it. I might try to grab it.
Yeah, it seems
quick.
silly enough to grab, yeah. Maybe we do that over this weekend while we're watching basketball. All right. Boy, what's next on our list?
Actually, let's skip down 2 because actually I've only played Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon for about 10 minutes, so I'll talk about that next time.
Okay.
So let's just cross that off the list for now.
I don't even know what that is, but we'll talk about it next time.
Oh, I accidentally skipped it in the game's releasing soon last time, and I got a very nasty look and a yes.
No, that's more of a joke than anything because I don't think it's going to be a very good game, but it's a game about a chocobo. Like, how can I not play that?
Square's been not hitting on a lot of things recently, so that's not surprising. Yeah. Okay. Devil May Cry 5.
What is that?
I
only know what Devil May Cry is.
Devil May Cry.
There's always a
where are we with where's everybody at? I'm on mission 13.
So you guys were talking about like a big moment,
a specific moment.
I wouldn't necessarily call it big.
It was a moment.
It's a moment.
Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily call it
I think it was in between 11 and 12.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Ugh.
You're like
really close.
You're right there.
I finished 11 and I
think it's the start of mission 12.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. I wish I would have seen that.
I have it with me,
but now I have motivation to keep playing it now.
I mean, all we can say is without spoiling it. I mean, it's a good moment. Okay. That's for sure. I
There's no way to talk about it.
No,
for me. There's just no way.
We'll talk about it at the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it's a moment for sure. But that game, for me, it started off really slow.
Yeah,
and when I mean slow, I mean even just like lumbering through fighting enemies was bad. I don't know what it is about. Maybe it's, and I think it goes back to even Nero's fighting style is just it's slow. And as compared to V and Dante, and I struggled to get. I was kind of like, why is everyone like this game for the first hour or two?
I was the same way, honestly. I came back around on it when I started playing as V.
Me too.
And then now that I finally unlocked Dante, it's like, why was this just not the game? Like, why did you not just start as Dante? He is by far the most fun to play as,
right?
At least for me.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with V. I think I would say, it was probably mission 4 or 5 you start playing as V.
Something and like then that, yeah.
I think was it 7, mission 7, you start to get that fork of like, okay, you can play as Nero or you can play as V. I'm like, fuck that, I'm playing as Nero or as V. Like, because it's just so much more entertaining. And V's, has there ever been a game like that where you've had where you command 2 different animals?
Not that I could think
with 2
of.
different buttons like that? I
was trying to think of something like that, and I couldn't think of anything.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Raven with the X button, and then whichever system you're playing on.
I guess Final Fantasy 13-2 kind of had a similar thing where you're controlling one character and then 2 like monsters at the same time, but not really like that.
Yeah.
So
it's a cool mechanic, and I wish for whatever reason the Panther sometimes goes away from where I want him to go, but but
or he just swipes at air. He's just like, why are you swiping there? Go up to the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
if you don't target.
Well, I mean, I'm even targeting.
Yeah, even when you're targeting, sometimes he'll just like swipe at blank air when he's. Yep.
Like, you're 15 feet away, buddy. What are you doing? Like, it's like, no, pounce. What? How do I? Yeah, but at the same time, it's more entertaining than using Nero. So,
yeah.
Story wise, that game. I don't know. Where are you at, Jason? You never really mentioned where you were.
I finished it this morning.
You finished it this morning. Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah. I had a big morning. I bought groceries for my family for the week. And then I went home and finished Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah. I worked out, and I regret it.
I slept, and then I came here.
Okay.
Good man. Good man.
So, but yeah, that's, so is the ending of good, is a good payoff, I guess. Is it, I mean, I'm going to go back and finish it for sure, but
it's really hard to, I mean, there's just no way to, especially then, there's just no way to talk about it without spoilers.
No, I guess
because like there's a reveal about V and who he is because he's the mysterious one.
I am curious about that.
Have you got to that reveal yet? No. Kind of, okay. Because that might be all about in that section between 11, 12, and 13, right?
The previous chapter ended with him talking to Trish.
Oh, it's right after that.
Saying, now I'll reveal to you who I really am, or something like that.
And that reveal is, so there's something good there. Yeah, it really just seems like, the latter half of that game is where it really picks up.
Yeah. Do you guys, I have another like Stars-esque moment from that game. What do you guys think of when they say V?
Nothing.
Nothing? Yeah. Okay, you? Anything?
Well, before I even started the game, I immediately just thought of Virgil. I got those 2 characters confused.
Oh, Virgil, right?
He's
yeah.
V.
No.
I just hear V has come too.
Oh, okay.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
Oh.
V has come too. Like I just hear that soundbite will be in my brain forever. So, like, his name is V. Like we just did that.
Is his name actually 5?
Yeah. What? Come on. See? Yeah. Right. See. So I finished this morning. There's no really. I can't talk about the story at all. Like without spoilers.
That's was it satisfying?
Yeah. Not so much narratively, but in the gameplay. Yeah.
Okay.
I will say I think that I also, like everyone else, enjoy V more than Nero, but Nero, I think if you're not, and the game doesn't tell you, but there are specific things that you can upgrade with him, and if you're not choosing his upgrades properly, then you will slug. But I think I was lucky enough to pick things that help me bounce him around, and use the right arm.
You're also kind of a veteran of the series too, right?
Yeah, I took 4 off. I didn't do 4, but I played 1, 2, 3, and DMC.
I played all of them, so
I think that it depends on your. Nero is a play style character, but he's also new, and the problem there is like he's new, and you don't know how to play him until you play with him. And at the end of the game, I think when you unlock some stuff and you go back through, I bet Nero is way more fun to play with stuff unlocked.
I think I can't remember what mission it was, but it was you did have to play another mission with Nero somewhere, like 9 or 10, somewhere around there. And I was after I'd upgraded a little bit more, I was like, okay, this is getting better. Like but when you start off with nothing, it's a slug.
There's like this weird juxtaposition of V, who's got all this dynamic stuff going on, and his reach is very far because of who he is, and you can get like an S ranking right away with him.
Oh yeah,
that's where you start to unlock all those you start to unlock those achievements.
Super
right?
Sexy style.
Yeah,
well, maybe you guys.
So, and then you go back to Nero, and it's like if you haven't upgraded the stuff that helps with range, so like his arm that grabs guys and pulls you. There's 2 different kinds. There's the one that pulls you. There's the one that pulls them towards, and then there's different launchers with your sword. And so once you combine all that stuff, you start to fly around the screen with Nero, and then you're like, where does this been?
Yeah,
right.
This is what I'm talking about, and it's stuff that Dante has always done.
Right.
And so there's like he's got this big ass shotgun, and Dante's got ebony and ivory, which are just like. By
the way, like when they start you with Dante, they start you with a slower gun, and I'm like, how do I switch this? Switch it immediately.
And the other thing, while we're on ebony and ivory, because I really am a purist in a lot of ways, like with Dante, I don't want to dual wield motorcycles in my hands necessarily. I want to. Oh, maybe that's later. Yeah, maybe that's later.
No. I've done it, but have you?
Not yet.
See, that's what
I knew it was in there though. So.
Okay, but
it's not whatever. It's a weapon.
It's kind of become my favorite weapon.
They're amazing.
I think it's incredible.
And then there's one more on top of that.
Oh, I haven't got that one.
So, yet. Sorry, I'm off on a tangent, but I think that Dante's always been interesting, and the problem with Nero is he's not I don't know. I want to be able to do these combos with Dante with the core set of weapons, and you're rewarding me for changing weapons in and out all the time, changing my style. Dante, God, he's got four styles. He's got 2 devil breakers. He's got
four primary weapons, 2 secondary guns.
5 by the time you're done.
Yeah,
and 4 range weapons.
Yeah.
And you can switch through all those on the fly.
All of it, which it rewards you for changing it. But sometimes I just want to juggle a guy and shoot him in the air for half an hour with every
right. Yeah.
And don't you tell me, game, how I enjoy what I enjoy. Don't you tell me.
I think that's a 2S ranking, and you're sitting here saying it's C.
Yeah. I'll give you C, game. So I've always kind of, that's since they introduced the style system, that's always been frustrating. You're gonna check out these. We've made these. Yep. You're gonna check them out, gamer. And I'm like,
I kind of wish you could turn off the style thing, to be honest. Because I don't like the game judging me for the way I chose to. It's I just cleared out all these enemies without taking damage, and you're telling me I did a terrible job at that? Come on.
Yeah. Give me some kind of a better reward system, and don't make me change the weapon and fighting style.
Yeah.
And each devil breaker. Come on. I know that's what you want me to do, but I don't like some of those as much as I like ebony and ivory.
Yeah.
I'd rather chip damage for a half an hour, thank you.
Yeah.
So the way that I got over that was I was actually listening to Waypoint, and Patrick Klepek was talking about it, and he said that when he learned to not take that style ranking as a judgment of your performance and more of a celebration of your performance, that's when it kind of clicked for him. I'm like, that's actually a pretty good way of looking at it. It's not necessarily grading you, because it's a grade, but it's more of a, hey, you did a really, really good job there, so maybe that's a different way to look at it.
I go back and forth a little bit on it, but when I do that's also how I discovered to do some like later game stuff where fights get a little bit longer. Like, especially with Dante, where there's V, who's got more stuff than Nero. Nero's bare bones, and then you've got Dante, who's just got like a million systems.
Too much, almost.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, which is cool because like he's the mythical Dante, so like that is cool. But like at the end of the game, I think I hit like I used everything like once in one big long fight, and I was like SSS. And it's just like I went from one thing to the other thing to the other thing to the other thing. I didn't take damage, and it was like, whew, boy, that feels real good.
Yeah.
That felt pretty good. Even though I'm like, I'm using these motorcycles, I'm not a huge fan. Like I'm using the staff, I'm not a huge fan. I'm using the stuff that I don't really like, but I get what they're doing.
I get where you're going with it. Yeah.
I like you, Logan. I had a tough time getting into it initially, but then I started playing as V, enjoyed it a little bit more. I'm immediately turned off, and I always am when games and TV or movies or whatever don't have linear timelines. I don't like that because in 99% of the cases out there, it doesn't help anything. It just makes things more confusing, bouncing back and forth. And at least up to this point, I don't feel like they've gained anything by bouncing back and forth in timelines.
No, and especially when it's kind of like, okay, it's not really a difference in years; it's a difference just in months. And I'm like, oh, okay, what is present day? Is June, and we're supposed to go and we're going back to May.
Right.
Like there was at one point where they said, or I think they said 1 month ago, and I'm like, oh, thank you for telling me what that is.
But like what do they gain from that other than like what do they gain? As
they're hiding parts of the story from you is what they're doing.
They're hiding Dante from you.
And they're hiding V.
Even that,
what V was trying to do too, because you didn't know that V had hired Dante until like mission 9.
But why is that a big reveal? Like that doesn't matter. Like they could have just started the game with that.
It's true. I don't know structurally why it is a big deal.
It doesn't. You don't gain anything from doing that, which is why I'm frustrated with the story. But
because I mean, well, the whole thing starts with the big fight with Elvishan. Is that what his name is?
Urizen.
No.
And I was actually just gonna bring that up. That's been my second biggest issue with the game is they've made me do this unwinnable boss fight 3 times now. Like, come on. Oh, there's more. Good. Oh, great.
You eventually.
So there's I'm assuming that's you eventually get him, but it's like the last one. I think it was Dante when I got there. I'm like, well, I know this is an unwinnable boss fight, so I'm just gonna put the controller down until it's just like, why are you making me do this so many times? It doesn't. But I do really like playing as Dante. I think that's a lot of fun, especially like it's very like nostalgic for those old games.
Yeah, and they do a good job of keeping it new and fresh too. I think that's good. So. Anything else on Devil May Cry?
I want to say that that's probably the best looking RE engine game that I think I've seen.
Oh yeah,
as far as the engine that they built ground up for Resident Evil 7. I think Resident Evil 7 looks good. 2 looks worse for whatever reason,
right.
And then Devil May Cry I think is the best looking game of those. Every once in a while I
think RE7 still looks better, but I think it might be the style.
I would be on your end.
Really?
I like RE7's look better than Devil May Cry.
There's a couple of things, like especially in the facial animations of Devil May Cry 5. I don't know. I feel
maybe that's what it is because you don't.
It catches me every once in a while. And I'm like, whoa! Like some of it looks like just as good as some of like the high level stuff from last year, like Heavy Rain and not Heavy Rain. God bless. And what was that game called?
Detroit.
We've already forgotten about that game.
I just, and even not quite, even Red Dead actually really, I think some of the stuff in Devil May Cry 5 looks really nice.
Maybe I'm just at this point, I'm jaded at the fact that everything looks pretty good anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does.
I was just surprised. I think coming off of RE2 with the same engine specifically, and also good for Capcom.
Capcom's doing good stuff lately. Capcom's really, I'm trying to think of the last big dud they've done, and
Street Fighter, I think.
Yeah, and oddly enough,
it was their flagship game.
And that was like what 2 years?
2 years ago.
Boy, I would almost say 3.
Maybe what was it 3?
It might have been 3.
I mean, yeah, there was a PS4 exclusive thing that they did, and yeah, it's been a while. I feel like
I didn't. Capcom looked like it was on the verge to me like before RE7, I was like, oh God, here we go. Here's another one. Here's another leader that's about to crumble. And we've seen it so many times before. And this has been like a huge year for them. Resident Evil 2 and Devil May Cry back to back. Also, Devil May Cry was kind of a surprise. I'm still surprised.
I didn't know, because they announced it at last year's E3, and it was kind of like, oh, well, this, you still think like, this is a couple years off. No, nope. 9 months. Yep. It was here.
And it more or less rules. Like that's
it's a good
for Capcom. I like it when
I don't know. I like good games.
Yeah, I like good games, and I don't want the herd to cool down.
I wish
too
every
much.
game could be a good game.
Yeah, exactly.
The one other thing I will say about DMC, you were talking about some story beef. Maybe in the vein of what you said Patrick Klepek was talking about, I would say just don't worry about the story. I mean, they're trying to tell you something, but just after finishing it, don't take it too seriously.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Devil May Cry knows what it is. Every time Dante speaks in that game, like it's like you're playing a Devil May Cry game. Wink,
wink, wink,
wink, wink. Like
there's some part of me that maybe wants him to take that camp up one more notch.
Yeah,
like
because sometimes it is like very self-serious.
But the thing like that the moment though that we're talking about, that's the level of camp. Like maybe one hair down of that.
I know, it's like, what are you doing, game?
Like, yeah, it's like
now I'm excited to go home and
you're
play
on
this.
a level of campiness, and then there's like 4 or 5 steps above, and that's that moment. Maybe about 2 steps in between there would be a good happy spot for all of this. So
what you said earlier about DOA, like there is unfortunately some storytelling that is on that level. I've got Caleb's quote here: 2 friends haven't seen each other in years. Hey, how's it going? Want to spar?
Yeah.
There's kind of some of that. There's like all of that. Later on, it's like, oh boy, none of this mattered. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Way to go, game. So just like enjoy the combat and whatever.
All right. So I've got I borrowed Caleb's VR. His
I forgot
the PlayStation VR. I picked up Astrobot. That game is real good. I mean, I
need to go back and move it up from last year's ranking.
Oh Christ, can we not do that? Just one podcast.
No,
one podcast where we don't rearrange a list.
I'm good with it. I had it at my personal number 10. Did we have it on our?
I don't even remember.
I don't remember either.
We had to have our collective list.
I can't remember if it made our collective list.
You know what?
Let's not talk about a list. Okay. All right. But anyway, yeah, Jesus. Yeah, where's that list? I don't know. I'm just really glad I went back and did it. It's a lot of fun. It's something that you don't expect a game that you sit down with a controller with to be as good as it should be in VR. I mean, you think about VR doing, the moving around with, your hands and doing all that kind of stuff. Like this is its own special thing. They figured out almost every way to do something with it. I mean, as I'm moving on to different worlds and stuff, there's even something new that seems to come, a new mechanic that they introduce almost every time that if they were to put this in a non-VR game, it wouldn't have been that good.
That was the thing that I thought was most impressive was it uses a controller and yet it still justifies the use of VR.
Right. And it's one of those impressive things because you look at like Lucky's Tale that they did and
there's a non-VR
There's a non-VR version of it and it's not any different. Like this, you legitimately need the VR for this and it's not just thrown in just for the sake of it being thrown in. And the looking around a corner thing or looking behind you to try to find one of the other little robot friends and stuff and using your head for different, knocking stuff out of the way or dodging certain things that come at you because you are kind of, which I found it was interesting. At one point in the game, I looked over to my left. You're actually a robot.
Yeah.
You're a giant robot controlling this other little robot. And it's like, oh, like this makes perfect sense of like why like canonically, like I'm in this little thing and like I'm controlling my little robot friend. And it's one of those things. It's just a happy little game,
right?
And
the music's great.
Music's really fun. It's just one of those where it's like, Are you gonna like?
I like Astrobot. No, I do. I actively like Astrobot. Hey, I like Astrobot.
We all like something.
Yeah,
and it's all something. It's something that's happy.
Especially that part where you chop him up, right, and eat him.
Yeah,
no,
that's
that does that happen? Oh, I don't like Astrobot anymore.
No. Actually, you know what? There is a very dark part of that game that there's a bunch of little Astrobot skeletons.
Oh no!
Yeah, that's sad.
It is kind of like, like how long have these things been here? And like, wait a minute, I thought we were robots and not like they're skeletons.
It's best not to think too hard about it.
And like, it's really trying to figure out like, okay, maybe that needs a lore book too. Maybe the Astrobot lore book.
Okay, let me introduce you to my Astrobot fanfic website.
Yeah.
What are these Astrobots doing to each other?
Yeah. My daughter's been playing a little bit too, and it's even one of those where there's times where it's challenging, but not like challenging enough where she's giving up on it either. So it's because there's enough checkpoints and proper checkpoints where like, this is a part that is kind of hard. Well, you're not going to go back very far, and the load times are quick. So it is something that a kid can easily pick up and play and have a good time with, and and it's. I used the word earlier, whimsical enough that, it's like they get a kick out of because they're cute. They're cute little robots that dance and they're when the robots that you try to save that are in trouble, they're always like, help me, help me. I will say the one thing I cracked up last night, there was a water level. And you actually you swim in the water for the most part. But the bad guys that come after you, there's water and then there's kind of like a land portion of it. And there's waves that move in and out. And that's actually how you go up and down all these different areas. So it's a cool physics thing to do. But one of the little bad robots that came after me had on a floaty, like a full inner tube floaty, and was chasing after me. That shit made me laugh like no other, because he comes just waddling after me all angry and he's got a little floaty. I don't know. That shit was real funny. And I don't know. It was like that. All right, this game wins. I think I'm on like world 3.5. When it's halfway through world. No, I just started world 4. I forgot. Yeah. I fought the gorilla. There's something else and then a bird.
The next boss is the shark boss.
The fourth boss is the shark boss,
which is the one you've done.
The shark boss, yeah. So that's where I'm at right now with it. I do notice that if I'm in the VR for about an hour or so, I start to get I either get a headache or I get nauseated.
Yeah.
So that was last night. It was nausea. I was kind of like, all right, I need to get out of this thing. And
for me, it wasn't either of those. I just got really hot in the VR.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
I had to take breaks because I was
just hot. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. We messed around with a couple of other things just on because they've got demo stuff, everything. My kids get a huge kick out of Job Simulator. I'm like, really? You want to do you want to sit in a cubicle thing? All right. But they want to do that a lot.
Job Simulator's funny.
It's funny. Yeah.
There's a lot of clever satire in Job Simulator.
But the stuff that they don't get as kids though either.
Yeah, I can see how
they just like to pick.
Do.
But these are things right. It's I want to go to work and be big. There's
a phone to answer. There's a computer to turn on. There's a coffee maker. There's a rotten donut in the garbage you can pick up and eat and then throw it up. That and the thing is my kids are even they're making the sound, so they pick up the donut and they're like they're pretending they're eating it and they're
doing the Homer.
Yeah. Yeah, and they make the bleh sound. It is doing it on the TV, but they're getting a big kick out of doing that kind of stuff. I mean, it is kind of a novelty thing, but it's still they're enjoying it. There's a couple other little demo things they've tried just with some shape. It's this weird thing, I can't remember what it's called, but you just take a bunch of shapes and you try to build a giant tower out of it. So there's that one. They've done the harmonics game, which was basically just here's some music and some weird environments you can draw in it. There's a DJ booth, and you can grab these dolls and make them dance and stuff. So you can do those. They were playing with that a little bit. I tried a couple of the different shooter games. Those are bad. I can't remember what they even were. I'd never even heard of them. I think one was Persistence. Never heard of it.
I've heard there's some good some good shooter stuff out there, but it's
like Robo Recall was really good, but it's not on PSVR, and so. But I was just trying out all the demo stuff here and there just to check that out. The one demo thing I did try out that was actually really impressive was the Next VR stuff, which is all live sporting events. And they do, they have a bunch that you can just like, you can go in and watch like yesterday's NBA highlights on there for free. You don't have to pay for it or anything else.
I would like you to show me that.
Yes, we will. And so it puts the camera basically right, like you're in the basketball hoop. Like you're literally like someone is coming at you and dunking it, or the ball's coming up at you. And so you can just look around and see all that stuff. And you can do it either in 2D or 3D. And the 3D is actually, I think it's very impressive for what that does. So they have, those ones I watched, I think they had hockey, basketball, and they also had wrestling. So they have, like they put them in the corners on the wrestling posts. And so, yeah, like somebody who's getting thrown into the corner, all of a sudden they're coming right at you. And they even had some that are like in the crowd area. There was one, they had Brock Lesnar was wrestling Daniel Bryan, and there was one on like the announce table, and Lesnar threw him into the announce table, and it looked, I jumped because I wasn't expecting it to like just come, like Daniel Bryan's back came flying at me. Yeah. It's pretty cool, like to check out some of that stuff out. I don't know if it's something that I would want to, because you can buy and like actually watch a live game in VR. I don't know if I'd want to do that, but it was cool just to check out. Like it's a neat experience.
That's one of those things that I feel I'm surprised at myself for not knowing more about it. Like I just haven't taken the time to look at it, but I am very curious about what VR means for like live sporting events, and if you can recreate the experience of me being there. Like I can't fly to Oracle Arena right in the middle of the summer realistically and go to a finals game, but how much would it cost me to have a VR presentation as if I were there? And not only that, but like from a business perspective, I'm a little more surprised. Maybe it's the adoption of VR that's behind, but I'm a little more surprised that TV partners, broadcast partners, big businesses, big sports, we'll call it, quote unquote, hasn't, like, it's one camera, right? And the footprint is low, and then you've now sold this one seat like thousands of times, maybe millions of times.
That's the idea behind it.
This is the footprint. The physical footprint is like one chair. So there's a full arena, which I get, but then you can put me there, like maybe like blackout restrictions. Like if you live in this area, you're not able to purchase this VR. I don't know what but I'm not, what I'm saying is I understand why this is muddy, but I'm a little bit surprised because like wrestling, this is one piece of technology in an arena full of people, and you've taken this one physical footprint and you've turned it into thousands and thousands and thousands of more people, if it's done right. And I don't know anything about it, but I'm very curious to see where we're going with that.
I gotta say, I would hate for the live event experience to officially go away. Like, but I mean,
I don't want that either.
I don't want that either, because I mean, the crowd is an very important part of an event. But yeah, like I said, if you can sell one seat, if you can sell one prime seat to one person for $1,000, or you can sell one prime seat to 1,000 people for $10.
Right.
I mean, that's where's the economy in that actually makes more sense. So it is interesting, and I don't know what the future will be. I don't know what the adoption of this next VR thing is. I know they'll advertise it here and there on NBA games and stuff, but it's, and I don't know how much of it is truly live either.
Right.
I think there's a lot of it that's next day.
I don't think there's any NBA games right now that are broadcast live.
I don't think they are either.
And I get that, like TV partners, stuff like that. I understand why it's always going to be an event that's
I even wonder what the processing capability is to actually live do that.
I don't know. I mean, all this cloud hosted stuff, like people are playing Assassin's Creed on stream, like lag free.
That's the next step.
Yeah, let's move on to that.
Yeah.
That's a good segue.
But it is happening. So I'm just curious, like where we're at with VR and what I realize TV partners aren't going away, and they probably aren't thrilled that VR is even a thing. So I understand why, but I'm very curious to know if someday I can go to the finals virtually. Like that would be, sign me up. I'd spend money on that.
Yeah. So as technology Google Stadia was announced on Monday, Tuesday. I forget what day that was now, but so the idea behind the Stadia is that there is no console and that you are literally streaming everything. You have a controller. It would Bluetooth connect into some sort of streaming device, whether it's a PC, a Chromecast,
Apple TV, whatever it may be.
Well, I think they're trying to sell their Chrome those type of devices on it. I'm not sure, what all of those are yet. They haven't gotten into detail, but every games would stream seamlessly. And you would never have a physical copy of anything, nor would you ever have a physical console to actually process it. It would actually all run from a cloud server. They did test this in a Chrome browser. They played Assassin's Creed Odyssey within a Chrome browser with supposedly zero latency. I mean, that's That's what like I say, supposedly.
I was watching a guy play it for a little while, and you could tell there is a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
There is a little bit of lag between the two things, which
I wonder why Odyssey is the go-to for all these projects, because it was the Project Steam game. Odyssey was free for Project Steam.
Project Steam
wasn't that the streaming platform? I'll look it up. But
I think you're thinking of this, actually.
Yeah.
But this is, so now it's called Stadia.
Yeah.
Instead of, wasn't it originally Project Steam?
Yeah.
No,
Stadia
it was Google Stream.
Yeah.
Google Stream. Okay.
And then Stadia is the official name for the platform now. This is what they announced. This is the official platform. No price on said controller, no price on games at this point, because
they didn't even say. I'm curious to know if it's if you still buy games piecemeal or if there's a subscription.
It's a subscription service. I mean, they were hyping up multiplayer. That hey, I know everybody's concerned about latency, but we're going to host everything server side.
Project Stream, and so people played in December. People got to play Assassin's Creed free via web browser.
That's this.
That's this.
Yeah. Until January 15th, and then that license was revoked before it was turned into Stadia. Then.
Yep.
So this is Project Stream is this same thing.
Yep.
So they already did it. Maybe that was a beta test.
It was a beta test to see if it
because they already did it. And last year now, late last year.
So this is the official announcement of, hey, this is going to be our platform moving forward. They announced it at the Game Developers Conference to basically get out there to everybody and say, hey, this is not a console, so you're going to have to develop specifically for this product because it's going to be a different development cycle. I can't imagine. I mean, obviously, if you're streaming a game, you're going to have to develop that game differently.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a barrier to entry for some of those.
There are some. I have mixed feelings on this, but there are some really, really cool things that I think
there's some cool ideas out there. Yeah.
Jason, did you have a chance to look at any of the keynote at all? Okay,
I wanted to. I just
it,
didn't have time.
There were two things that really piqued my interest. One was, so say you're watching a streamer on YouTube, and he's playing some multiplayer game, NBA 2K or whatever, and there's an open spot on his roster. Like so you're watching on YouTube, and he sets it to open to the public or whatever. You click and say, yeah, I'll play point guard for you. You click a button, you're instantly in his game playing with him.
Because it's all integrated into the YouTube, Google.
Oh, man.
Everybody's, that's
wild.
That's really cool. The other thing that I thought was, what was the other thing? No, I already forgot. Okay. So you remember how the last podcast, or maybe it was in between podcasts, you were talking about a specific moment in Resident Evil that you wish you could recreate.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So with this, since everything's hosted on the cloud, you can save specific snapshots.
Ooh.
So you save your save state. So your character, your loadout, your place in the game, and then you can share that with other people. So if you were playing on this platform, you could say, "Oh, I'm going to share that spot with Logan and Caleb so they can see exactly what I was talking about. They can actually play
control
the thing that I saw."
That's pretty crazy.
And the other thing too, which is also interesting, is that it will automatically capture your 4K 60 FPS stream at all times.
Yeah.
It will archive it all for you.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of really
Holy
cool stuff associated with
data,
this.
Batman.
But at the same time, like, there's a lot of caveats with it too.
Yeah, you got to look at where are we really with our ISPs? I mean, like,
so and
What kind of ULA am I gonna have to sign here?
yeah.
I know they're starting with 1080p 60, which isn't nearly, but they did say they're going to expand to 4K 60.
They even talked about 8K.
Yeah, and if you're doing 4K 60 for an hour, I looked it up. For an hour of 4K 60, you're looking at about 25 gigs of data. If you have a 1 terabyte data cap, that goes quick.
Yeah.
That's 40 hours in a month.
So
you can play games.
Yeah, at that resolution. And but that's what I say. Where are we at with our ISPs, especially for one, your data caps. 2, you've got what really is the latency and download of that. What's your bandwidth? Because if I'm playing a game, I mean, let's think about a family of a family. You know, if you've got your teenage kid streaming or is online playing a game. You got somebody who's watching a video and another person trying to, doing something else or watching another video somewhere else. Do you really have enough bandwidth to handle that?
Right.
And then what happens and you're dependent on, especially with multiplayer, you're dependent on now the streaming that plus going through streaming it down plus trying to upload and download all those different things to someone else. I just am not sure if we're there from an infrastructure standpoint with everyone's ISPs.
And on top of all that, where we are with net neutrality means
it's about ready to go away. It looks like
means that Comcast could at any time be like, no, you're not going to get this today.
Right.
We're only gonna let you have 720 today because there's been too much of a demand for it today.
Yeah.
So.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Well, and about where are we with ISPs? And so there's
just a lot of caveats from a technical standpoint that I just don't know.
And the old school person in me goes, I want my disc.
That too.
That's part of and for me it's hell at this point. Just sell me a case with the art on it, and I'll take that. But that's kind of my thing.
Maybe that'll become like a secondary market thing where people start making cases for
and like in game preservation too, with how this stuff works. I mean, because are you actually going to own it?
Right.
I mean, because or you just own a license to play it.
Well, we already have that.
We're close to. Yeah. I mean, we're there already, I guess. Yeah, for the most part. But I mean, because I think you think about it as like, okay, well, yeah, I own a disc for Kingdom Hearts 3, but I own a license for Toejam and Earl.
Right.
I mean, at any point in time, if that hard drive gets corrupted and that's not for sale or available anymore, there's no disc.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a ton else to say other than.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the same time. I'm not surprised. I mean, there's very little physical media. I mean, Samsung quit producing Blu-ray disc players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've looked at it and said, "What's the point?" Xbox is supposedly coming out with a discless Xbox here very soon. Like, supposed to be in May, supposedly.
Yep.
I mean, who knows with this next generation? We'll find out soon what the console generation is going to look like, if there's going to be physical media or not.
I think you guys know how I feel about this.
Yeah. I don't want physical media to go away either, but it's cool new tech. I'll give it that.
I don't own a single digital license that I couldn't have physically bought. Not a one.
Are you sure?
I'm almost positive.
Okay.
I'm sure you do.
I'm sure there's a game
that were available digital only.
Valiant Hearts. Did that ever come out physical?
It wasn't available physical.
That's what I mean. Okay, was it only available digital?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If it's available, he could buy it physically, he bought it physically.
I've never opted to buy a digital license for something that I could buy physically ever.
That's only happened a couple times for me, and then ultimately I bought the physical copy later at a cheaper price. Like once it came down, I think I bought Titanfall 2 digitally because I just wanted the ability to just press play and not have to get up and change a disc because I was being lazy. But then ultimately I bought it when it was like $9 or something like that, just so I had it. And I think, and then I want to say Halo 5, I don't have a physical copy of because the collector's edition for Halo 5 was digital only.
I'm sure you could get that for like $10 right now.
Probably even cheaper than that if I went and got it used somewhere. But yeah, that's the...
Like I went on my way to buy a physical copy of Dead Cells. You know,
Mm-hmm.
It was more expensive physical. I bought it.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, I know the Switch version of that game is really hard. Is like $40, and the digital version of it's $20.
Right.
So yeah, that's.
We'll have to see how that goes.
I do have one other game I've been playing.
Oh, okay.
Frank's Adventures.
Is this your mystery game?
This is my mystery game that we were talking about. It's really nothing exciting at all, but for whatever reason, it's encompassing a part of my life that I can't get back. I don't know why. It's a dumb phone game. It's a free to play Disney Emoji Blitz.
Okay.
It's not even a real game. I mean, let's put it. It's basically Candy Crush, but
I mean that's a game.
But it's got a 60-second timer on it compared to where Candy Crush has no timer on it, and it's been out for like 2 years. It's just for whatever reason, like our whole family's playing it. Like up and down, 36 to 4-year-old is playing this game right now, and we're all getting a kick out of it. And it's just some dumb little thing that I don't know. I was just like, hey, it's another game I'm playing, and
okay.
I have nothing else to say about
I found a tips and tricks video. I'll send you here in a little bit later.
Okay, good. Because and that's one I have not put any money in because the whatever reason the commerce of that doesn't make any sense.
And also, it's Disney. Like they really need more money.
It's not made by Disney though,
okay.
So I think it's just licensed. So it's because it comes up as Jam City first. So I think I'm giving Jam City probably 80%, and then Disney probably gets 20% out of it. I don't even know what's going on over there.
As well as how to use those emoji in real life.
I've already watched that video. Trying to figure it out. I remember that.
Hilarious.
I'm trying to figure out because my wife's a little bit better at it than me. So yeah, well, there's a high score, there's a leaderboard list and stuff.
I thought you were a gamer, bro.
It's something fun for the family to do. It's
Oh, sorry.
okay. Yeah, stop turning it on.
Me too.
Anyway,
Yeah, the last thing on the list here is just I just put a couple of games that possibly we will be playing before the next podcast. It's a rough month.
we're at that point. we're at the stuff is coming.
No
out.
offense, Caleb, but good. For me, good. I can catch up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
catching up
Caught
is a
here.
good thing to do.
Sekiro I mentioned earlier.
Tomorrow,
is
right?
tomorrow. Yeah,
Real
I'll be playing
briefly, is that a From game? It's
Yeah.
a From game, right?
that. From
Okay, and what is the difference between this and a Souls game? Like what setting wise?
Samurai.
Quickly. So it's a samurai Souls game.
ish, but it's also much more. From what I understand, at least, it's much more action based.
So a little faster, not as heavy. Okay.
You're instead of sitting behind a shield at all times, you're parrying stuff constantly. And
What's the word on this? Better than Neo?
yeah,
Better than Neo?
The reviews that I've seen have all been outstanding so far. Like
Really?
it's at like a 92, I think. Right now.
Holy Toledo, really?
Yeah,
I might.
really
I
looking
wanted.
forward to
I
it.
was pulling for Neo. Like I'm a big Onimusha guy, but that is also like way more action than the Souls games are. So I wonder if this is somewhere in the middle.
maybe.
I could get down on it if it is.
From like if you're having trouble with a encounter, you can use your grappling hook to like zip to a roof and get away, that kind of stuff. As opposed to a Souls where it's like you're sitting behind a shield.
I'm going to ask you this, Caleb, now before I forget. Have you ever played any of the Tenchu games?
No.
You said grappling to a roof,
Yeah.
and I pictured Tenchu. We're going to have to talk about more homework for you during that time. Probably Tenchu, some Dino Crisis. We'll fill your time.
Okay. On the 26th is MLB The Show. I know you guys kind of play those games.
I will look at that.
sometimes.
I will look at it
We usually check it out the week of March Madness.
a year late.
A year late. That's kind of what happens because it always comes. So March Madness always happens, and then the show, the current year of the show comes out the next week. So we'll be renting MLB 18, the show,
Sure, yeah.
today, I guess, and then there'll be 19. We'll
Okay.
maybe check.
We'll look
out
forward
later.
to your impressions on last year's version.
Okay, we'll check that out.
There's a game called Zanki Zero coming out on April 9th. I'm super excited about this. It's the new game from the people that made Danganronpa.
That is
yeah.
your jam.
That is super me game. I haven't heard anything about it yet, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we'll see. And then the next like major release isn't until the 23rd, and that's Mortal Kombat. I know I'm looking at Jason right now because
it's his jam, right?
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat is far more important to me than it should be, but it is. I'm looking at the $300 collector's edition of that seriously.
Okay.
That Scorpion bust is pretty damn cool.
I have the collector's editions for 10 and 11. So,
Or
9 and 10. Sorry,
yeah.
9 and 10. So I've really enjoyed this iteration. Like, you know, whatever you call this is cross generations now actually, but whatever this group of Mortal Kombat games is, the design, that reboot is 9 is, I don't know.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
It's just and where it's taken us now, and this is kind of the crown jewel of the 3. It looks really nice, and it looks as crazy as ever. I don't know. I could see myself. I haven't played an online game in a while, but I will go out there and test my skills. I'll go out there and do it for sure.
You mean test your might?
Test your might. As long as I don't have to literally break my Genesis controller trying to.
And then finally, the last thing on this list is I think we're all kind of curious about more than anything, and that's Days Gone, out on the 26th.
I'm probably out of the 3 of us, I'm most excited for that. I think I could really like it. I still think there's a chance for me to enjoy that.
I've the early impressions I've heard of that game are not positive.
I've heard positive ones and I've heard negative ones. So we'll see. I'm very curious.
Is this? And
I'm giving it a shot, yeah.
There's still. What are the big Sony exclusives this year?
We don't have dates for anything.
Is there? There's Days Gone, Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima. Like there's the big 4 they showed last year, right?
Death Stranding, but none of those.
None of those have dates.
None of those have dates.
And so there are still things coming from Sony. Like there are those things to look forward to. Whether or not they'll be what we all want them to be, who knows? But there are things coming still for this console. So I know
maybe.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You know, I mean, depending upon where we're at, who knows?
You know, that right. I will say that Last of Us 2 stuff, some of that stuff that was in there, made me think it could be a 5. Like there was some interesting things that they were doing in that when they did that trailer that I was like, can a PS4 really do that?
I think so. I think that to me looked like the end of the generation to me.
And that's kind of
in the way that Last of Us looked like the
yes, I was just gonna say that's exactly what happened with the first game. Was it pushed the PS3 to its absolute limit, and we haven't had that with the PS4 yet.
And I will say Sony has a really good track record of doing that. Like they haven't felt like they have to release something on the new console when they've got the masterpiece for the original one. So like. Even back to PlayStation 2, like they pushed like Metal Gear Solid 3, like they were choking all of the power out of the PlayStation 2 that they possibly could. Like they're the God of War, like they've done it before. Shadow of the Colossus, like they've like they're, and then at the end of each generation, I think the Sony especially figures out a way to choke the most power out of their consoles.
I just think about how it sounded like my PS4 was taking off.
during
God of War.
Sure.
Like I'm like, okay, if it's struggling on this, ooh, boy, like.
That was another. It's interesting.
Catch fire.
You mentioned that there were a couple of times that my ex got really loud playing DMC.
Really?
Yeah,
mine hasn't gotten loud.
That's the first time. The first time I noticed, like when I exit the application, it was like, ooh. I was like, oh, whoa, your fan was on.
Yeah,
it is now off.
I'll have to check that out. I don't remember it doing that, but then again, I wasn't listening for it, but I didn't hear it either.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Anything else games related that you guys wanted to bring up?
Oh God, I don't know. I'm hungry. That's for sure.
Well, I do want to do our last.
Oh
thing.
yeah, our last thing.
So this is if you listen to NPR, yes, we did rip this straight from NPR's podcast. It's called "What's Making Us Happy." So we're each going to pick one thing that's not games related, and we don't have to spend a ton of time on any of them, but just kind of tell us what's going on in your life that's making you happy this month, I guess, since we do this monthly. So who wants to start?
Oh God.
Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
Just to just to kind of bare my soul, so you guys are disarmed. So don't feel like you can share whatever. And I'll go like the completely corny route. But my son's smile makes me feel good. He is a little nightmare at night. Sometimes he screams and cries because he's a 6-month-old baby, and they're just complex at this point in time. But then he wakes up at 5 a.m. and he smiles at me, and it's like, I was so pissed off at you at 1 a.m. and now I'm not mad at you anymore.
You get mad at a baby.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you anymore. You're so excited. You just learned to sit up and you're banging your hands. So yeah, that makes me happy.
Okay. Yeah. I'll go.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Mine, in my ever ongoing quest to find a TV show to relax before I go to sleep, I have found, I think, the absolute perfect TV show for me. It's called Terrace House. It's a Japanese reality TV show where there's 6 20-ish-year-old people that just live in a house together for a summer. Nothing really ever happens. They're very polite to each other. They're very nice to each other. If this was an American show, they'd be at each other's throats constantly.
Yeah.
But there's very little conflict. They're very nice to each other. They go out on some kind of pseudo dates sometimes. But it's just a very relaxing, refreshing, nice show. Puts me in a really good mood before I go to bed. So that's what's making me happy.
It's weird to have a TV show that's nice, like a reality show that's...
That's not what we do here.
No,
in case you looked around, it's really not our thing here.
No, not at all. Oh gosh, something's making me happy. I was say my oldest daughter is taking up tennis lessons, and so as part of that, we get to do or as our membership, like with the thing is like it's an actual tennis club, and we get to go for we get an hour of court time a week. So we just go out as a family. We go and we play tennis. So we're teaching the girls tennis.
You're getting into tennis.
It's a random thing. It's kind of something that we're all doing together. It's are we all great? No, but then what we do is we'll play with the girls for a little bit, and then my wife and I'll play against each other, and the girls will keep score for us because they've got the little score sheets things up there, and. So they'll keep score and they'll cheer for us, and one usually picks, whoever's keeping score on the one side cheers for me and the other one cheers for my wife. And so it's just something fun that we like doing right now. And yeah, so that's kind of what's making me happy right now. Tennis. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Tennis.
Who knew?
Right.
Who knew?
I like this. This is a good way to end the podcast on a very positive note.
Yeah. I do have one quick plug that we have to do. So yeah, May 5th, we are going to be doing a live podcast. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Well, when I say it's live, we'll be recording it, but we're doing it live from a video game convention in Normal, Illinois. So May 5th, from the convention is from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Radisson Hotel in Normal, but we will be there, and we will be doing interviews with some of the vendors, and I forgot his name. I should have looked it up. But the guy who originally did all of the martial arts work and the character modeling for Scorpion in the first Mortal Kombat will be there as well.
Nice.
Kind of a random...
Nice.
Yeah, his name is it Daniel Zamuda? I think that might be it. I can't remember it now. I'd have to double check and look. But yeah, so we'll be there checking that out. Not saying everybody lives in that area, but there you go. All right, anything else?
Well done, gentlemen.
All right.
Let's go play games and then talk about them soon.
All right, sounds good.